Stop the insanity. Get your focus back onto what really matters in life. Your faith, your family, your finances, and your future. Sit back, listen, and change the trajectory of your life. You are listening to the Money4Life Podcast. Let's welcome your hosts, Teresa Kuhn and Rick Sapio.
Hi, this is Rick Sapio. I'm excited for another episode of Money4Life, where we help you, as you know, because you listened to the beginning, get more engaged and more fulfilled in the four important areas of life: faith, family, finances, and future. And this topic is near and dear to me. It's something that's been top of mind for me my whole life. I talk about being the seventh of 9 kids, and I saw a lot of chaos with my siblings that I learned from. I love to say that people really don't make the same mistake twice. They often make it 20 or 30 times. Well, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that we're really against making mistakes 20 or 30 times. Just either make them once and learn from it, or best, this is where wisdom comes from, learning from the mistakes of others. So we're going to talk about rhythms and habits that amplify time. And I did a module in another program, which I entitled Using Rhythms to Amplify Time and Success. And that's what it's really about. And most people hate rhythms, or they say, I hate rhythms. I hate systems like that. I just don't work that way. I'm more of a creative person. But you've heard me say the quote before, I'm sure, that only when the rules are clearly defined can creativity flourish. And that is attributed to Voltaire. So how do you use rhythms to amplify time? Well, let me give you a really simple one. We all hear this everywhere, and I actually was working out at the Y, and there was a sign on the wall, and it showed a family having dinner together. And on the bottom was a caption, and it said, "Families that have dinner together stay together." That was the caption underneath. Well, one really simple rhythm that I grew up with, and many of us grew up with, which almost doesn't exist in society, is having family dinner together. And that's just a rhythm to do every day. Is it hard? Yes. Does it compete with a lot of other things that are quote unquote more important in life? Yes. But if you do it every night, 7 nights a week, and your children and you and your spouse grow up with your kids, having that ritual, that rhythm, what is a benefit of that? Well, they say that kids that have family dinner every night are healthier, they're leaner, they're more athletic, they're more attentive. There's things about life that they learn at family dinner. And if you've seen our family dinner placemat, it has the rituals that we've embedded into our family. So that's a very easy to understand rhythm, ritual, process, etc., that has massive benefit. Another very simple rhythm you can incorporate into your life is working out at the same time every day. And I love Heather Rice's quote. She's an acquaintance of mine that I haven't seen in a while, and that I think about. She says, doing something 100% of the time is easy. Doing it 90% of the time is hard. Now, let me tell you why that's an important quote, and thank you, Heather, for that. If you're listening to this, is my wife and I, when we first met, we decided that we're going to have family dinner every night, and more importantly, we're going to have a date night every Monday night at 7:30. And so we would go out to dinner every Monday night at 7:30, and we've done that now since the day we met, which is we met in 2004, and every Monday night at 7:30 we go out. Now, doing that 100% of the time is easy because we know that we don't have to make plans. We know where it is, what time it is, the kids know, the babysitter knows, etc. But doing it 90% of the time would go like this: hey, do you really feel like going this Monday night? Well, we just had a baby last week. I remember that long ago. We had a baby, and we took the baby with us, newborn, out to dinner. Uh, what we realized is if it's 90% of the time, it becomes never. It's no different than working out or eating right or investing wisely or hiring people, running a business. Doing something 100% of the time is a whole lot easier than doing it 90% of the time. If you go to church and you go to church every Sunday, it's a whole lot easier than thinking, well, I went last week, I don't have to go this week, and blah, blah, blah. And what happens is it causes the people around you to be in some form of chaos. Are we having dinner tonight, Mom? Are we having dinner tonight? That no, well, we'll just order whatever you want online, and it just becomes habitual. You see, values and rituals and rhythms like this, they crumble over time. They don't happen abruptly where they end. So it's a whole lot easier to do something 100% of the time. We are embarking for the first time in our marriage on homeschooling. We're going to homeschool our two oldest kids who are 10 years old and 12 years old. So we've got a 6, an 8, a 10, and a 12. And my wife and I were meeting last night about it because we've got a couple of tutors coming in. And she says, I'm so excited about homeschooling because we could play tennis one day, we can go swimming another day, we could have the tutor come. And I said, you can try that, honey, but that is not going to work. I said, we have to have a permanent schedule. And the permanent schedule could be something like, and I'm just making this up with you on the fly here, it could be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day for 4 hours. We're going to do nothing but classwork. From 1 to 3 every day, we're going to do a sports activity. From 7 to 9 every day, Monday through Friday, we're going to do homework. And as long as the people involved know what the system is, that's when their creativity will flourish because they can operate around the boundaries of the system. And it's no different in any business. Businesses that are great are businesses that have crystal clear rules, systems, rituals, and habits. You just don't think about it like that. So, what I want to hopefully get across to you today is the value of rhythms to amplify time. Now, how would rhythms amplify time? Well, it goes like this. If you know that every morning you're going to get up at 6 a.m. and you're going to have a 30-minute ritual where you pray or meditate for 10 minutes, and then you write out your schedule for the day, and then after that 30 minutes, you work out for 30 minutes. And you do that every day. Let's say you do that for a year. That actually amplifies time because you know what to expect and you plan your day around it. So you start with that. And then what happens is your day naturally unfolds from that. Now imagine if many hours of your day was ritualized like that. Now, some of you might be rolling your eyes, but what it does is it amplifies time because you get more done in your life. Now, you have to contrast that to what a lot of people do today, unfortunately and sadly. And it may be why, as a culture, we're taking 6 billion pills for medical conditions per month culturally. Really crazy. Look that stat up. It used to be 4 billion, but now it's 6 billion just in America. And that's an estimate because they really don't know. But we've got all kinds of craziness around anxiety and depression and all of that. But I think a lot of it has to do because there's an absence of rhythms and rituals in our life. So we wake up in the morning, we grab our cell phone, we read through some messages, we watch some videos, we look at social media, we look at texts, we call a friend, we watch something on Netflix, we complain because there's not enough time in the day. Our kids want something to eat, so we say, go grab some cereal. And life is just massive blur, and there's no hard and fast lines between anything, and that is a recipe for unfulfillment. I'm not saying don't live that way. I'm just trying to give you a way that you might consider is a whole lot better. So the way I like to live my life and run my businesses and run my family and work with my wife on is we have crystal clear rhythms and rituals, both in our businesses and in our family life. And it goes like this to give you some really simple things. We have dinner as a family, as I mentioned. We go to church every Sunday at the same time and mostly at the same place. We have Friday night game night, so the kids look forward to that. So every Friday night after dinner, we play games. On Sundays, we have obviously church day, but we don't do anything else on Sundays. We typically don't leave the house except for church. sometimes we'll have people over we'll have a big lunch around 2 o'clock that goes from 2 to 4. We play games. We have a family meeting typically around 5 or 5:30, and the family meeting is laid out on the placemat. After that, we'll typically have show night where we'll do a talent show where they'll play the piano or whatever they want to do. It's just pretty fun to watch. Um, but I'm using that to demonstrate that this stuff could be really, really simple. And what it does is it allows human beings to have confidence and have structure. So when the proverbial shit hits the fan at some point in life, you're automatically structured as a human being to add rhythms, even during chaos. And I've been told, because I've been through a lot in my life, in my 57 years here, that I typically am the calm in the storm when something really bad happens, because my mind immediately goes to, how can we rhythmicize this? And so rhythmicizing may not even be a word, I'm not even sure, but you get the point. And what it does is it gives you this confidence around scheduling. It's, there's no debate that school is probably better. When you go to college, you look at your syllabi or syllabus, whatever it's called, and you know what your schedule is. You know what's required of you. It's a way to get your brain to learn a topic that you didn't know before. For some reason, all of that flies out the window. I'm not sure why when we become adults. We don't want that rhythm, systems, calendarization. We don't want that. I'm not sure why. So I like to tell you why we're doing a podcast each time, Teresa and I. We're doing this because we want you to have a fulfilling life in those 4 areas. And putting some simple rhythms around things that you do in your business, personal life actually increases the fulfillment. And people will fight it. It's funny, in our marriage at the beginning, my wife didn't like the rhythms that I have, and now she actually has gotten accustomed to them. Just like you get accustomed to certain companies that you use and the way that they do things. It's really a way for the human mind and humans to work together, all of us to actually be elevated in a sense. And it's hard to grasp, but when you see it in action, which you do over and over and over, what will happen is you'll realize the benefits of it. Try to commit, instead of saying, I'm going to improve my marriage or I'm going to improve my relationship with my child. Why don't you say, for 52 weeks in a row, I'm going to go on date night with my spouse at this exact time and this place. You might go, well, there's not enough creativity there. Try it and see what happens. Or with your kids, another simple rhythm that you can do, which we do, is one-on-one time. Every week at the same time, have one-on-one time. You'll look forward to it. Your child will look forward to it. Make sure if you're doing one-on-one time with your child, make it where there's no electronics. I'm thinking now about my lunch with Brett. My friend, he wanted me to experience his son, who was 12 and who was asking him about entrepreneurship. And I said, great, I'll have lunch with your son, but he can't have his cell phone. He goes, well, then we can't have lunch. I said, why not? He said, because he's addicted to his cell phone. I said, you want me to have lunch with your son while he's staring at a screen? He said, yeah, he can multitask. So we had the lunch. It was an absolute disaster. He was mad at me. He said, your kids don't have cell phones? I said, no, why would I give heroin to a heroin addict? It doesn't make sense to me. So that's a whole nother story. But really, my goal here is to teach you some really simple things that could increase satisfaction and fulfillment. So try rhythms. And if you like it, what's going to happen is you're going to find that it can really enhance all areas of your life, whether it's health, fitness, diet, exercise, business, relationships, you name it. Thank you for listening to another episode of Money for Life. Have an awesome day.
You have just experienced Money for Life. Implement these strategies today and create a life by design. Have a blessed day.